Well, good morning. Good morning for most folks. Good afternoon for my friends in Europe. It is Tuesday, December the 31st, 2024. 2024 is drawing to its close today. So this is going to be a short one. It's day 1042 of the full-scale invasion, of the 3-day special military operation. Now, we take a look here. Last night was loud. It was a loud night. There were ballistic missile hits in Sumy and in Kyiv region. Um, the Ukrainian armed forces shot down 6 missiles, but the Russians sent 22. So let's look at that for a second here. Now, great news with the drones. The drones, it was 100% interception rate. Again, the Ukrainians are just so good at that. 40 strike UAVs of the Shahed type and simulator drones of other types from the directions of Bryansk, Milarovo, the Russian Federation, were sent at the territory of Ukraine. 16 of those were shot down. The other 24 decoys were lost on location due to active countermeasures. Okay. The Ukrainians still aren't telling us what those active countermeasures are. So 100% on the drones, great. On the missiles, not so much. All 6 Iskander M's or KN-23s. Until they examine the debris, the two are so similar and fly so similar, have such a similar radar profile that they're virtually impossible to tell apart, as I understand it. So 6 ballistic missiles, Iskander and KN-20 or KN-23s, the Korean version of the Iskander, got through. Got through. Now, curiously enough, the one Kinzhal, the one hypersonic missile, the unshootable downable one, was shot down, which is always nice, right? They're certainly a dangerous weapon. 5 of the 6 KH 69s, 59 variety were shot down, but one did get through. And then finally, 8 KH-22 cruise missiles fired from Tupolev-22 backfire bombers from the airspace of the Tula region of Russia, so very far away. They all got through, targeting energy infrastructure. Now, fortunately, or not fortunately, I don't mean that. It doesn't appear as though the energy infrastructure in Kyiv was affected, though the energy infrastructure in other parts of the country was. We have had no blackouts, no interruption in service here. Now watch the lights go out just as I'm saying that. But it was a loud night where the enemy did damage. There's no two ways about it. And I expect the expectation that I have is that this is the prelude to tonight's attack. That tonight's attack is going to be the big one. The Russians are known for this, right? New Year's Eve is likely to see an uptick from what we saw last night. The only thing I want to talk about today is Vladimir Putin. And I do not want to talk about him for long at all. But it is worth mentioning that today, is the 25th anniversary of his assuming the mantle of power in Russia. It is a quarter century of this gangster, this no good, backstabbing, lying, cheating son of a bitch, who has gone so far to corrupt American politics and undermine American institutions, democratic institutions, and set Americans against each other through his disinformation campaigns. That is the reason that I'm here in Kyiv, the reason that all of you watch this channel, the reason that the Patreon supporters support this channel, is because we all recognize that this is the man behind the curtain. This is the puppet master who has been pulling strings for 25 years to try to take down the international rules-based order that led to the post-World War II peace and prosperity that the rest of the world has enjoyed, but that Russia, through its selfishness and short-sightedness and backward view of the world, has kept from its own people. Instead, still playing, instead of finding win-win scenarios where everybody does well, or at least okay, Russia insists on its 19th century imperial view of a win-lose situation. The only way that I win is if you lose. This is a betrayal of who we are as human beings at our most deep and fundamental level. What has made us the number one animal on this planet, right? The ruler of all we survey, the top of the heap, is not our ability to beat our fellow men into submission and get our way. Our great gift, our great resource, our great promise is our ability to work together, our collaborative nature. Papa Don said the other day that he was looking for a theory. It's a stupid theory. I'm not even going to talk about it because it's written by a Russian. It's full of bullshit and cynicism. So I'm not even going to mention it. I'm familiar with it, though. But it's a theory on when civilization begins. I ascribe to the Atwood, the anthropologist, Margaret Atwood, not the novelist who wrote, you know the one, The Habit. Why can't I think of the name of that show? I love that show so much. Anyway, the terrible dystopian future one that I cannot think of the name of. Anyway, not her. Anyway, great book. Handmaid's Tale. Jeez Louise, from Chaucer, no less. One nath April with its shower suita, the Drakta March. Anyway, The Handmaid's Tale. There was an anthropologist with the same name, I'm pretty sure, right? Margaret Atwood, who, when asked when civilization began, pointed to a 150,000-year-old human skeleton that had survived a broken leg. There were signs that clearly the leg had been badly broken, that it had been healed, and that person resumed their life without a broken leg. Here's the thing. In a state of nature, you can't do that alone. You need somebody to bring you water, somebody to bring you food, somebody to find herbs that will help, get you some willow bark, boil up some willow bark and help bring down that fever. You need nutrition, you need sustenance, you need something like medical care. And that lasts for weeks. So if the tribe moves, they have to move you. That's the beginning of civilization. When we care for each other enough that one of us who's been injured has the chance to survive. And Putin, in his cynicism, dismisses all of that. He doesn't even believe it's a thing. But the fraternal connections that bind the human race together are very real. And the society that maximizes the freedom of humanity in the creation of those bonds is the society that wins. There are only 3 principles that every successful society in human history have agreed on. You don't lie, you don't steal, and you don't murder. And frankly, the entire Russian experiment is built on lies, theft, and murder. They are they're a failed society, as we see from the extraordinary rates of immigration and the demographic crisis within. No one should be trying to save them. No one should be looking to give Putin an off-ramp. No one should be looking for anything but to hold this liar-in-chief accountable for the evil he has wrought in the world. And the only people really doing that are the Ukrainians. And so everybody knows it is my opinion that we should do everything we can to support the Ukrainians in this fight and to learn from the Ukrainians who this enemy is that we are up against. Because we've been fooled for far too long in our naivete and our civilized outlook on the world. This person is not civilized. This is an enemy of civilization. And for everybody who thinks that civilization is a real thing, that it is hard to live together, to try to figure out how do we build the just city, for everybody who thinks that that's a real thing, you need to look at this person and his minions and know that they are your enemy. And if I had to sum up the last year of little speeches that I've given here on the Tuba U's and the TikToks and such, I would say that that's my summary. That's my view of the world. That's where I stand. Where do you stand? Because it matters. It matters a great deal. So thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody who makes this channel possible. On the subject of cooperation, you know I literally could not do it without you. And I am deeply grateful. And together, I think we're learning a lot. I know I am. And I appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.